So we did the tour thing, so I'll call the meeting to order. It's, I don't have my phone.
I got you.
What time it is?
6:47.
So the tour was earlier. I apologize for being late. That's me just trying to ride the bike. Okay, so the first item is a roll call. Who's here? I'm here. Steve is at Planning and Zoning, I think.
Yes.
Okay. Tuesdays. No. Okay. Our new members, or you were at a meeting that I was ill back in January, and Jeff. So just wait, and Rich is here, and John Morrison, Gary. I think that's it, right?
We got everybody.
Okay. It's very nice welcome, especially to Gary's been for a while, but two members to have a full complement, to have a good discussion, to take a good strong look at what we're doing. I think I know Jeff for many years, and I think it would be a very valuable addition. And I like your instincts and your questions, so feel free, if I don't see you over there, just feel free. I tend to run things loose. All right. Okay, so my hands are cramped too.
I got you.
It's cold. They are cramped. So, all right, so minutes from January 22nd. They looked good to me. I think I had a minor correction. I usually do.
Yeah. There was a note in there, just a couple of little things, but
So if everyone had a chance to take a look. Okay, if there's no corrections or questions, I'll take a motion for approval of the January 22nd, 26th meeting minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Rich, second by Jeff. Discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and minutes are approved. Public participation, is there anyone from the public wishing to speak? So it's not open for tours, it's not Saturday when the Historic Society is here, so good. It's very nice, I like this place. New business, 165 Main Street Brewer House, the certificate of approval. We have the form. I was here at one point on a Saturday, so I looked around a bit beforehand, so it looks great. I wish that the commission had been, the way the procedure is supposed to go, which is review and approve and then go forward. Because I was surprised to see it already worked on and done before it had come for that, but we're doing better, and so that's that. So it's a relatively minor project. Who's from the town on this one? Is anyone?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Hiding.
So roughly it was a 5, 6, 7, 800,000 budget. What was the budget?
So we had 1.2 million total, which included some of the preliminary work, like the conditions assessments on this property and the other. Also 2 of the condition assessments that were done at the Martin Park historic properties, like the Cleveland Schoolhouse and the Blacksmith Shop. So some of that 1.2 went towards those. The remaining budget, most of it went here, the Brewer House. Some of it was used next door at Hockenham Hall. New roof, chimney upgrades, painting the exterior.
At Hockenham?
And the gutters, yeah.
Okay, so Hockenham has been basically tightened up.
Watertight,
For a while. Okay.
yeah. We closed any squirrels that were accessing the attic.
And your books?
There's one book that I've seen.
Well, that's a library. I know people have left that library. Yeah. Okay. So security with that building.
Yeah, so that's on my list too. We did alarm upgrades. That one is a lot different than this because this is accessed more frequently. So we've worked with the Historic Society. They've all got codes. We're basically just modernized what's here.
Okay. And all the stuff that's supposed to have to the fire department.
So yeah, and those of you that are on the town council will see a bid waiver coming soon. Alex and I have sent our memo to the mayor and finance. to redo the front walkway. There was a little bit of funding left at the end of this project. As you probably noticed when you walk in, there's a few dips and waves that we'd like to remedy. So that's on maybe the next council's agenda.
That's a town little parklet, right? Behind.
Oh, behind.
Behind?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
That's the town, okay, so, it's a nice spot. I've never seen, in my life, people,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
nice, I would love to have the house right there, because you have like a nice yard that someone else does.
I think the theory is that this becomes more usable. You can have events here and then also basically have them out here, or you use this as the staging area.
That's true.
And have an outdoor thing there in the garden.
I think a couple of years ago, they did a musical thing out there. Those are all rose gardens. Rose bushes.
They're lovely.
And it turned out really nice.
Yeah.
I've never walked there because I live in the neighborhood and I don't want to not fit in the neighborhood, so I've never
Yeah.
actually back there.
Yeah, so no, it's,
Very nice.
yeah.
Okay, so now, anything else?
I mean, if there's any questions, I can help answer.
Now, I have questions, but anyone else?
Just basically the things we saw.
Yeah, I've added those to the
Yeah,
list.
it's minor.
Oh,
Like punch list stuff?
one more thing, when we're talking about the floors,
Mhm.
they didn't finish behind the front door. It's still strip wood behind there.
Yeah, so there was a break-in during the construction phase, so that
That's normal.
still is on the list.
Oh, wow.
So we'll look at the alarm first.
Yeah, the alarm was set first.
It didn't seem like there was that much really.
Yeah,
I'll take care of it.
yeah.
Chimneys are my major concern.
Yeah, I agree, we're gonna get that addressed.
Who, so Public Work, who like keeps, I guess it's Public Works, who keeps this building, like the Historical Society, but who does the day-to-day? If, like, I don't know if it's ever could be used, like a small wedding or a small something, or I don't know if that's been thought about. I mean, it's a museum. I don't-
With it staged, I don't know.
Right,
I'm
just-
To my knowledge, the Historical Society is actually who manages the building, and, we have no say,
Okay.
as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
From what I knowledge of, we'll come in and we do like a director's meeting here, but it's really,
Okay.
they maintain the house as far as, just the furniture and
Cleaning,
and
stuff
vents and stuff like that.
It's a town-owned, obviously, and does Public Works come in and look at it regularly, or do they let how does it?
We use the same facility management program, so the Historical Society, if they had any issues, they report it through the program, and the facilities department would come in and address it.
See,
And right now, I believe we're trying to get custodial services in here for 1 day a week, to follow up.
Yeah, that's why we were adding.
It's-
Yeah, and we paid for the heat and
Over the town.
utilities and everything else. So as a practical matter, the Historical Society basically just sort of maintains
They're-
the,
yeah.
keeps things,
They're grifting.
yeah, pretty much. But it's good, and then they can use it for events like they had a couple of months ago here. So it's a good sort of mutual thing. And you're right, the rooms are just not useful for
I'm
major
just,
events.
just sort of thinking, when it was emptier, there were
Yeah.
times. things
Yeah,
like-
even then it's small and they're chopped up,
Right.
so,
Maybe to build it next door when it's done.
yeah,
I don't ask
that's
here.
more
Yeah,
designed for that kind of thing.
yeah.
So, that's good. So how long has it been here? It was moved with, when Will Goose was?
Late 70s.
Late
is when
70s.
it moved
Put
here.
your movies that way.
I remember sort of briefly in my grandparents' car, I was probably 10 years old, and like going, I don't see parks around then, I don't know where we were going, but somewhere down around here, and there was traffic.
And they were moving
Yeah,
the house.
yeah, and I said, there's your neighbor in the middle of the road at Doris, from Berwick Road. Berwick, right, so. Okay, and it's been here, it looks good, it's, I love it, when I'm planning and zoning, there was a big brouhaha with the gas station here. They wanted to have a flat roof, and we made them do it you know, the roof. It's not the roof we wanted, but a traditional peaked roof that would fit too, sort of as an entree. And then they went and put it in a flat roof, and my fellow commissioners were almost, and it was very expensive to do the peaked roof, but we let them keep the support, so it's still too tall and too large, but at least it's peaked. Which there's not too many spots in town where I think it was important, so to have that, because going down in Knobloch like that.
Yeah, that's a start player.
Yeah, it's, well, you know, Hockenham, I mean, most of the historic buildings are now gone. In the past couple of years, the old post office, that brick building right there, was along the Pewter Pot was taken down along with a lot of our older homes, but it's still here. I think this is where our Potter's Field originally was, somewhere here, like here. Yeah, I'll have to get to the library and look that up, but I do believe this. Hockenham, Burnside, and downtown were the three first villages in East Hartford. So, and it's hard to tell, except for this one spot, what it was like in a handful of months. Okay. Anything else? Anything? No?
We're good. You need a motion?
See how easy?
You need a motion, right? Do you? Need a motion for-
So
Yeah.
I kind of crafted something based on the, because honestly, looking back, we haven't had a building quite in this situation before. So if you want to just put eyes on.
What does it say?
To confirm receipt of the certificate of approval for 165 Main Street, AKA the Brewer House, dated November 18th, 2025, provided by Tim Gothers, town building official.
That sounds.
Well, it's confirming receipt, it's certificate of approval,
So
what,
that was the document that was
That's allowed
provided.
access back.
do we know what that is? Because it's not a certificate of occupancy, right? So,
Right, I forget when a certificate of occupancy is warranted.
I think the ordinance says
Construction.
deemed complete or something.
yeah, that's
like
what,
that. I think it's
yeah, I
like
don't-
upon
yeah, so
completion.
I
I think that's
it's
what the
gotta be
ordinance-
more.
Substantially complete, you get
So-
a certificate of occupancy.
Right, this is when, and, the budget, I should have, the budget.
Right, so again, with any remaining funds, we're gonna get the front walkway.
So,
Level them.
So with inspector approval, that shouldn't delay a CFO.
No.
We can ask Tim why it wasn't a C column.
Yeah, the document that he has here, certified that authorized under B 25-4, issued to
what else?
Jim
So, yeah.
Dentrema.
Contractors, yeah.
It located, has been completed and is in substantial compliance with the Connecticut State Building
Yeah,
Code.
so see, that's the
Yeah.
building code,
Yeah,
though, the
that's-
B
yeah.
25-4,
Yeah, I glanced
right?
at that.
So, that's all fine.
That's closing their
But-
permits out.
So,
Yeah, that's what was,
I think
I
what
don't
we can-
remember.
So we
So-
just need a,
We did the
just need a
town-
motion that essentially
Accept this
says that, you know, we are fine, right, with the project and that it's deemed complete, right? Isn't that sort of where we're at?
I think
Okay.
so.
Is that with any
So,
little things being taken care of after this point?
yeah, I mean, I think we can, so we could say something like, move to, approve the completion of the 165 Main Street Brewer House project.
Renovation.
Subject to minor additional repairs. I guess
That covers it.
that would be it, right?
And
That covers
the ordinance
We use
says,
the term substantially complete, that doesn't preclude the completion of any punch list or outstanding items.
correct.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, but the word substantially complete is not in
Right.
the ordinance, we're trying to track the ordinance.
It says, so number 3, determine when such construction or renovation is completed. So I don't know if we,
So what did I say here?
So to approve the completion of the 165 Main Street Brewer House project, subject to minor additional repairs.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
To the point.
Yeah.
And it was a project, it wasn't a restoration.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we're talking big bucks for a little bit
Right.
we do. And we may have some funding left to do the walking, so I mean, it's.
yeah,
And we're all on the
maybe the
same page.
ordinance is a little,
Yeah.
Yeah,
because we can do this and still, because it says completed, but,
well, approve the completion.
we got completion of it, right?
Yeah, so I think the wording is fine. So I'll make that motion.
Made, motion made by Rich, is it second? John, second by John. All right, very nice, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. This is complete.
Okay.
I'm sure. Feels better.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, next on the list would be
The update.
the update on Firehouse 2.
All right, Chief, you there?
so yes,
Hello, gentlemen. Let me reintroduce myself, Steve Elsick, Assistant Fire Chief. From the fire department side, project manager for fire station number 2. We're here in front of you today to provide you update number 2. Where we're at, what we've done, and to hear your feedback based on where we're at now. I have with me representatives from Tecton Architects, Matt Salad here, he's a project manager, and Jeff McElravy. He is one of the principals with Tecton as well, and they are our go-to for this project. Where we are at, we've been meeting with Tecton for quite some time now. In your agenda packet there, you have a memo with some highlights. I'll go high level on this. I'm sure Matt's going to bring in some detail with that. So high level, we put together a work group in the firehouse that consists of all officers and firefighters and apparatus operators, all ranks. It also includes Jeff and Matt Lewis from Public Works as the Public Works project manager. John Pilo, the fire marshal, building official. So we've got a group together, Justin from Public Works is going to take care of it, on what we're looking for. We've had some good meetings with Tecton and their folks on space needs analysis, what we need from the fire department perspective, what DPW needs from a maintenance perspective. We went through that exercise, a group called H2M, brought all that together, and Matt and Jeff put together. Fast forward, make a long story short, it was not good. We did not like it. Okay, and I'm being very, it was beautiful. We had Matt and Jeff come back, and we sat again and say, okay, a couple options. Kind of didn't think you heard us the first time. Rework it, which they did. They came back to us with a couple of options, a 2-story option and a single-story option. The work group got together, say about 2 weeks ago, and we settled in what we're looking for, the 1-story option. Meets all our needs. Matt will get into what the building conceptually has. And fast forward a little bit, things are a little bit out of order. I wanted to get in front of you guys first. However, we were approved as a town for congressionally delegated spending from Congressman Larson's office. Fantastic. $875,000 for construction funds. It's a drop in the bucket, but it's a kickstart. It allows for conversations to happen at state level, local level, and again, more federal level. So that's Chief Munson's part of this whole project. He's trying to find us building funds. Where we're at today is we're still fully funded for design. So I think with that, any questions?
Are you fully funded with design with the 800, or is the 800?
800 is total construction.
Okay.
We are fully funded to get through bid.
Okay.
And that was, we had to get creative with that, but essentially we are fully funded to design, right up through bidding, so we're good to go in that aspect. We're designing this and moving forward as if we're going to get building funds. I do not want to build and then have it go on a shelf in this museum to dust off.
Was that, did the town council authorize that money directly, or did that come some other way? I mean,
That meaning what?
the money for the architect.
Oh, yeah,
The
town had
design
a-
Design.
through
Apply.
the town council.
Okay, so it was in the budget as an item and everything. Okay, that wasn't
Yeah.
clear from what you said.
No, that's,
I'm not on the council like.
Great question.
So-
Yeah.
Great question. And we, in finding design funding, came back expensive.
Right.
Worked with Jeff to whittle that price down as best as we could. Presented to the council a multi-phase plan, and then some of the councilors, no, we want to do the full thing. And Connor, Mayor Martin, were very supportive of finding the whole design funds, and we were able to get all that together. So we're fully funded for design.
What is that number?
$875,000. No, that's
Yeah.
760.
So roughly. Okay.
So, yeah, we're fully funded for that.
Okay, thank you. Now I understand. So, okay.
So I think now would be a good time for Jeff and Matt to take you through their presentation.
Yeah.
With that, why don't we get the copies?
I don't think so. I think we're good. So, thanks for the introduction.
This we do not have, but I'm getting the email so I can share it with everybody after the fact.
All right.
Yeah.
You know what my questions were.
So, thanks for the introduction. I think you hit the nail on the head, and that's, you put together a great working group that's really vocalizing and putting the needs of the fire department and what they need for station number 2 at the forefront. So, that always results in us getting back checked a few times, which is how this process should go to make sure that you're getting the station that your folks need to operate efficiently and effectively in delivering service to the town of East Hartford. So it's been a great working group. There's been a lot of good collaboration, a lot of good conversation around getting this project right, and I think we're on the right path. So just high level, where we've been and sort of big picture of where we're going. We did an initial space needs assessment. We did that with a partner of ours, H2M Architects. Both of our firms are experts that spend a lot of time and do a lot of work in the public safety market nationally. So you've got both firms as a resource, which is great. We took that initial space needs assessment, which is really the wants and the needs, put that together in an initial program, and then we've spent a few months kind of really hashing that out, making sure we're right sizing the project, doing conceptual design test fits, showing the department what those spaces start to look like and congeal in a floor plan too, and that's helped us sort of whittle it down and refine it to really mission critical spaces. What are the real needs? Let's forget about the real nice to haves and do the right building for the town of East Hartford. In November, we conducted our site survey. We've just completed conceptual design that we'll show you the results of after this. We're going to, now that we have a sort of a floor plan, if there's no issues that come out of this committee or others, with those floor plans being settled, now we can go and do our geotechnical analysis, do some borings, get a better understanding of the subsurface strata and how our foundations and building structures get to be developed. We're going to then, after this, roll right into schematic design. That'll take us to early May of this year. From there, we'll proceed into design development phase. That'll take us through July, with the ultimate goal of having construction documents bid ready for October of this year. Right now, it sounds like to get into the funding schedule with the town to bottom the rest of the project, it will probably not bid until next November. Certainly, if things can shake loose a little sooner, you know, it certainly benefits the town to bid it this year to avoid another year of construction cost escalation. So that's the sort of schedule we're on now. There's going to be dozens of meetings that sort of fill in the gaps between those large milestones.
The working group is gonna actually, work, so.
Yeah. So the space needs summary, this is really the bones that start to tell the story of how this building is gonna get built. It's an assessment of all the different rooms that comprise the fire station. Just as a summary, and I can pull up the detail, because you can't read it there, I've got that in a PDF. Our initial space needs assessment looked at just over 16,200 square feet for the building. Like I said, we had several meetings to refine that. Some of the spaces that are included in here, right, we're looking at the top, primary spaces, apparatus bays, the ones that support the trucks. The station's looking at, we're doing 4 bays, 2 double deep, so when you look at the plans, you'll see 2 bays. They're sized such that they can support 2 vehicles back. Turnout gear, so that's a room dedicated for their firefighting gear. 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, that was just stored out on the fire floor.
Back when I started, put them on the floor.
There's been a lot of, especially since 9/11, a lot of new research talking about risk hazards to firefighters and increased cancer risk, and a lot of that has to do with being out of the fire scene and then bringing those carcinogens back to the fire floor and not being able to manage those carcinogens appropriately. So the fire floor we look at is somewhat of a contaminated space. You'll hear us use the term red zone or hot zone. We want to make sure that we're keeping all that sort of isolated to that area, and as things get clean and we go deeper into the building, we start to mitigate some of that risk. So no longer do we store the gear on the floor. It gets cleaned and treated in a segregated decontamination space and then goes in a specialized gear storage room so it's not being recontaminated before it gets put back on everybody as they respond to a call. And then there's a mezzanine. So apparatus bays are big, tall, open spaces. There's some support rooms that happen down below in the firematic support area. Those are low height spaces. So by taking advantage of the volume of the apparatus space and those smaller spaces that are within it, we can build a mezzanine and at a really low cost get additional storage. So
Or training station.
or additional training. Firematic support, so these are all the rooms that support the fire floor, firefighting services themselves. A lot of these are storage rooms, and we have a number of storage rooms: foam, tire chains, outdoor equipment, fireproof storage, a mechanic's workroom for servicing the vehicles and any of the firematic equipment like chainsaws and things like that. We've got a decon laundry space, so this is where they're cleaning the gear that they're responding to a call with. It uses specialized decontamination equipment. There's special NFPA standards that go along with that. EMS storage, so this is like gauze and things like that load up on the ambulance. And this is also secure storage for any drugs and narcotics and things like that need to be replenished. The air room, so some fire departments have an SCBA room dedicated to filling their air packs. That's done at headquarters, so we don't need that space here. Hose storage, radio communications room. This is also called a watch room. Some departments have triage rooms, so oftentimes somebody will be driving down the street, going past the fire station, have a little bit of chest pain or a broken leg, and they'll just turn right into the fire department. And
A lot
ask
of
for
driving with broken legs going on.
Yeah. And then sometimes, there's work that goes out on the fire floor, and when you're out there and you're a little bit contaminated and don't want to go back into the clean side of the building, it's good to have a restroom right there so you don't have to go back and forth and things like that. And then a decon transition area. So this is essentially an internal vestibule that takes you from that hot zone to the clean zone of the building. It helps as an airlock so that we can positively pressurize the rest of the building so that when you flow into the bays, the air flows with you and not back into the building. It also has things like a little boot wash area, walk-off carpet.
Excuse me, Matt, is there
wash
plans, because I'm really trying to
Yeah,
imagine
we'll go-
this.
yeah,
Okay,
we'll go
I mean,
through all
because it's, okay, this is, because I'm
Well,
not,
let's just see how it goes, and plus we're getting
Yeah,
the,
I'm just
this.
trying to,
Yeah.
So I don't, yeah.
like, walking through this thing.
Yeah, we'll go through all that, yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Then there's the living quarter spaces, so day room, kitchen, dining area. So this is where the firefighters basically spend their day between calls and things like that. for their downtime. We've got an exercise room. They've got their own lobby, which is really just a vestibule. A series of bunk rooms. These are, 24-hour shifts, so they do need a place to sleep. Restrooms, showers, a library and study area so that they can do some training and things like that for anybody who's going for promotion and wants to.
How many bunks or spaces?
In the program here, there's 2 officer bunks and 6 non-officer bunks.
Currently is a single company house, 3 or 4 people. We're designing for 2 company house. We're looking at for expansion. If we need to put folks there for storm coverage, we don't want to just build for today. We want to build for future.
Is there separate for men and women? Like,
individual?
areas,
Are they in-
showers?
They're all individual.
Yeah, I was just say they're
So
individual.
everything's individual.
Used to be, we would do, big bunk rooms with many bunks in them, and then we would do, male and female bathrooms. With the increase of the female population, the fire departments, the best practice these days is to do small individual bunks. And then basically a toilet room that's like what you have at home with the toilet, the sink, the shower.
Shared toilet, yeah, sure.
So it's unisex,
Yeah.
and that means you can accommodate any combination of male, female, and that works out at the worst, the same square footage, oftentimes less square footage than duplicating.
That's probably good in case like COVID or something too as well, to try to keep some sort of separation in those things.
On the administrative side, so initially we had talked about doing a 24-person training room, classroom area that could also be utilized by the public. Some storage that goes along with that. We've got an office for a captain, and a separate office for a lieutenant. And then some workspace that goes along with that, as well as a network IT room, bathrooms, and the like. And you can see here as well, we also have stairs and an elevator.
Can I give, I just want to give a little feedback to the community space that you mentioned. We had originally designed this with a fairly good-sized community space, community. And the first thing Jeff came back to me is you're way over space budget. This square footage equals dollars. So to get to where we're at here, 10,000 square feet here, we're under our 12,000 square foot budget. And we can meet the needs of what we need. We had to cut the community. Didn't like to do it, that's where we're at. So,
But seriously, we have plenty of community space in the town of East Hartford. We don't need
yeah, and yes, I'm glad to hear that,
We just
because
don't.
it was one of the things we were trying to incorporate for then in the town. However, it put us way over square footage and way over budget construction wise. So
Yep.
knowing that we can find that space elsewhere, we have a bare bones down and dirty firehouse, not dirty.
Right. So,
An old firehouse, you know,
so all that adds up to 16,205 square feet. Our target square footage when we started this process was 12,000 square feet. So a bit above that. So what did we do? We met with a working group. We worked together over many meetings to try to right size this. So we reduced the turnout gear storage room from 32 sets a year to 24, which is more based on their current membership, what they see is actually working out of that house. All those support spaces off of the bays that you saw, there was a dozen or so storage rooms. Every time you make an individual room, it's got walls and circulation. Doors. So we combined all those into one giant space. That reduced a lot of square footage by doing that. We removed the triage room because it really wasn't necessary. There's not a lot of people coming to this house for medical emergencies, and they can be managed other ways. We removed the public coat room. We reduced the public restrooms down to 1 because we also got rid of the classroom. We combined the captain and lieutenant offices into a shared office space. And by making it a single story, we got rid of 2 stairs and an elevator. So that resulted in a net reduction of.
And the community.
Yeah. So that was a net reduction of 5,833 square feet, and brought us down to just over 10,000, below our target program. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jeff, and he's going to walk you through the floor plans, and hopefully what I just said makes a lot more sense.
There we go. Can you zoom in on that so you can,
That's what we're looking for.
we need a bigger screen.
Would it be okay if I share that?
Sure.
Same exact?
So, one of the, do we have the site plan?
It's on here as well.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, start with the second.
That's,
Yeah, I mean, when we started with the bigger program, we actually did an initial test pit where we were trying to spread the building up the hill, because if you're familiar with the site, you'll know that the existing fire station is elevated, you drive straight in, and then there's a floor under it. But the program called for drive-through bays, which is more common in fire services days, but creates an interesting challenge, because you've got a site where the road is up here, and most of the site is down here, like 10 feet below that. So, you know, we explored an option of stretching all those community spaces up the hill, which looked pretty good as a site test fit. But when we got into the actual space, there was obviously a lot of compromises from stretching it up the hill. And it was also the square footage issue that Matt talked about. So we boiled the program down to the bare essentials, and then took a new look at it. And we produced two schemes. One is a one-story, the other was a two-story. We did the two-story in hopes that we would save some square footage and footprint, and be able to maybe make more of the site than we hoped for. I think the test proved that you had to have an elevator because the state of Connecticut says so. There's no option, even though we had equivalent spaces upstairs and downstairs. And then so you have the stair, the elevator, and all of that sort of threw the balance out of the mix for us. So we ended up saying, yeah, the single story is the right answer. And so you've got Main Street up here. You've got the bulk of the parcel down low is sitting about 10 feet below that. What we wanted to do is make sure that we still had the ability to address Main Street and to egress onto Main Street with the apparatus. And so the game became a question of how do we get from here to here? And that is a topography game because, you know, big trucks, fire engines carrying lots of wire, they accelerate slowly. And so we don't like to exceed much more than 4.5% slope on that so that we can get them up the road, address the roadway, and then turn onto it. We also need a flat area at the top so we can make that turn. So we carefully looked at the topography and figured out how we could get down to the reasonable existing grade level. By stretching that distance out. We also wanted to make sure that we had some accommodation for public visitors. We don't expect a lot, but you know, every now and a few of them. So we have a second driveway that allows us in. So if public visitors are coming in to see the fire station and looking for help, they've got access to that. You'll see that there's a cross-hatched area here. This is something we learned out in Bloomfield, Connecticut. When you get that sort of dead-end driveway, it's a lot easier to plow. If you have it connected. But more importantly, if somebody makes the mistake and goes the wrong way, they got an escape route. They can get out of the way of the apparatus, responding apparatus. So, the front of the station faces Main Street. You've got the slope going down into the apparatus phase and the drive coming in. But really, our firefighter access comes on the side road, Remington Road. You can see all of our firefighter spaces on the back of the building, as well as our access to do the drive-through bays. So there's the two bays Matt talked about. This area here is that combined storage area. And then we've got a bit of our transition spaces and decon spaces and the rest of it.
With that outlet on
The rest of it is living quarters. In all stations where we've got 24-hour operations, we do like to pay attention to the health and well-being of our firefighters, access to daylight, the opportunity to get outside. So, you know, outside certain areas, we have a little bit of a patio area so they can get out and yes, sir.
So, while just going through this site fit here, at your last meeting, it was important to hold the grass space near the school for overflow parking. So they were very cognizant of maintaining that space for public parking in the school and/or the park.
So nothing beyond that will be touched?
That's right. All in grass.
It's all grassy.
We were also constrained by a sewer line that crosses the site.
Yeah, there's a right here it is.
I selfishly asked because I'm the house on the corner. Down right there.
Yeah, yeah, here.
No, down.
Oh,
down.
here on the corner.
Yeah.
So this all stays grass through.
Thank you.
And we were, the working group was very adamant that we dump onto Main Street.
But we eliminate the ability to park or they still park here? Because
They
you know,
can still
yeah,
park here. Yep.
that's still
That's
for-
overflow parking for school events.
for the school, yeah, okay,
It's
all
still
right,
there.
that's still,
So, you know, it's a little bit more constrained
It'll
right
just,
here,
yeah,
but
take out that back
most
door.
of the site is still available.
yeah,
Just goes and then drops, and then it goes.
Yeah.
okay.
And that was a big deal, because, you know, when we first looked at it, we were trying to stretch this way, but that wasn't working. So when we pared down the program, we started looking at a solution that stretched this way. And, you know, the sewer line, the storm water line became our, you know, backup limit, if you will, for the site development.
So what kind of, I mean, because you are talking 10 feet between front and back, I mean, how much of, I mean, you have only a 4-degree pitch.
It's about a 4.5% slope from, so we come out of the apparatus bed, we drop a little bit, and then we start rising at a 4.5% slope until you get here, about 50 feet away from the roadway where it flattens out. Because we don't ever want to come up to the roadway where we're still aiming up. We want to be level with it so we can make the proper turn.
So the back entrance then too, is that going, then basically it's flat coming in, you don't
Yeah,
have
this
it?
is essentially flat back here.
Okay.
In fact, this whole area is essentially right here. Don't do that.
Yeah.
The slope all happens right at the very front. And this actually is the location of the former driveway onto the site. When we were walking the site the first time, I'm like, yeah, this is a driveway right here. So it was the natural place to start looking for.
Where is the current firehouse?
Over here.
Couple.
Over here,
Right
okay.
about there.
Alright.
It's about 4 or 5 houses away.
Just two.
Two houses.
Yeah,
Just
two, yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
it's the
I
same.
mean, it's spread out. There's.
Okay, so this is toward Remington Road
That's correct.
from the current firehouse.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
I have a question. It looks like this design is mostly to come in from the back and pull through the fire. Because I
That's
don't see
correct.
much. to
So this is our
pull that.
response route. This is our return route.
So what happens if one truck doesn't start, you gotta get the one behind it out? Do you have enough room to back out and go around?
Yeah, I mean, we did create additional space. I mean, we could create a little turnaround here if we needed to.
I'm just thinking,
Right.
Yeah,
It'd be a good idea.
yeah.
and you never can tell what could happen.
And we even talked about maybe this is where our storage room is, and maybe creating a little access there so you can actually pull a small vehicle into that.
Yeah, I gotta be more concerned making sure you got the truck in or out.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest parameter for our bay depth, it was the ladder truck. If the potential that you need to store a ladder truck here, that bay is satisfactory for that. So you could do a ladder and an engine, which would be your 2 biggest bays, and then you might have a chase vehicle after that. So if there is a chase vehicle that's parked behind, it could back out here. But we can certainly create a little turnaround for that.
Is this all current town land, or did you buy anybody's property?
A few years ago. Yeah. Now there's a referendum. There's an old
Yeah, we
farmhouse.
we bought one and then knocked the house
It's
down.
empty.
No,
Yeah.
we knocked it down.
18th century. Lovely colonial. Lovely.
It was painful.
I know. We do it all the time. I hate it.
Do you need a second for,
But when it's
the
done,
median?
Out here?
Oh,
Yeah,
In between, but,
yeah,
we're
we'll have to
gonna
work
have
with
to,
the state
we're gonna
to
talk to Jeanette
to arrange that.
about that.
Yeah, one of the things we have, we've reached out to DOT.
Yeah.
Lewis has been fantastic. We've been planting these seeds all over the place.
okay.
So we did talk to DOT, and they're like, fine, just when you get closer, re-engage us, we'll go on their radar. Same thing ahead of ourselves, but land use, P&Z, those types.
That was another reason why we went,
Stoplight, they still have control over it.
Yeah, we did. New curb cut, move that stoplight up forward to control the intersection, so we can get out safely. That's brutal up there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
Absolutely.
I can imagine, so, yeah.
Absolutely.
it's another reason why we looked at this corner of the site, because it's got enough
People think no one lives
separation
there.
for the intersection
I
of
swear.
Remington Road.
I swear.
If you get them too close, the state gets a little buggy about that.
Also, MDC's been contacted,
Right.
so we're starting coordination with them, and then in the next month, we'll be engaging Eversource on rebate programs.
And final thought on dumping out to Main Street. Here, again, we wanted Main Street because that eliminates having to mess with the school. Whether school's letting in, letting out, children, we don't want to go that way.
Yeah.
When we're coming back, we obviously taking our time, it's, we do it as safely as possible at all times. But the guys really wanted to dump on Main Street for response.
So how are the fire engines, going to get across? Do they have to take a right and then go and
No, it's
circle
already
back?
Cut the
New
median.
cut.
You're gonna make a new cut?
Yeah, in the median,
We'll
yes.
move the gun, yeah.
Cause there isn't a cut there now, right? From
But
the
existing
current
firehouse
firehouse.
does,
This
but not
is the
here.
firehouse.
There's a cut now.
Yeah, the current firehouse there is.
Oh, no, that's right,
Yeah.
there is, right, right.
Yeah, there's a cut there.
And that's where
Fill that
DOT was
in.
like, all right, you're gonna need a curb cut? Like, yes, we'll get back to
Okay.
whatever.
And did you say a light as well there, or are you just using a key light?
That'll be determined by our engineering folks.
Yeah, the DOT's gonna play a big part in that. They're gonna
Yeah.
probably require us to do a little traffic work, and I would suspect that there'll be a emergency light with an Opticom connection to it.
Yeah, the preemption light, not the winter traffic light.
Yeah.
Right,
Exactly.
right,
Only
right.
activating when the fire apparatus is either.
You coming or go or go
Oh,
out.
so trip,
Yep.
like,
Yeah,
a trip
yeah,
thing
there's
or,
a-
okay,
There's a
thank
sensor up on the light that the fire department, the fire
you.
truck.
Those two, so no one has the fob or that there's a.
One other thing, we did look at the setbacks around here, you know, this is our closest corner to the setback. I was worried in some of the initial schemes because the house sits here, and I didn't want to, even though I know it's an older house, I didn't want to create friction with the neighbors. Our previous schemes were up here closer. This one, we've kind of tried to keep as minimal impact on that setback as possible. Though we are outside the setback, we're still close to that corner. And then we're a little bit in excess of the setback on this side. So we got, you know, pretty good position between the sewer, the storm line and the setbacks and all that flow, and we managed to get the topography right, so.
No, I have some questions. As at the last meeting, concerned about the flooding and the floodplain, and it does, and what that's happening. Resilience. There are maps that have come out since we've done firehouses, I think 5 over here, and the senior center that now look are now in a flood risk that they weren't
Yep.
when we did those things. And I
Yep.
had mentioned it for the senior center, but can't justify it if it's not in the plan. But now it is, and so, you know, couldn't get something done for flood protection there. So I'm very interested in building into keep, because it's very important to have in a disaster to have a not flood.
Yep.
So I don't know.
I'm doing a
There's
firehouse
been-
in South Portland, Maine, where the site is already well above the road, and we have to bring it up another 1.5 feet.
Okay.
It's
No, and
tricky,
it's,
but, you know, our preliminary studies show we're okay with flood risk here.
right.
As we get further, we'll dig deeper into that. If we have to raise a little bit, we will, which will make, you know, there'll be more fill on the backside of the site, less fill on, or less fill on the slope of the site. But we'll be monitoring that carefully, because future grants are dependent on you
Finally.
being out of a flood risk.
Finally.
We will make sure your building is outside the flood zone. We don't want you to have, we have another client who's, you know, the fire headquarters is in a flood zone. And so we're proposing that they do a new headquarters to get them out of that flood zone.
The FEMA map doesn't have this in the flood zone, though.
No,
We look fine right now.
but like when we did the senior center, it wasn't, and now it's, you know, 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10 flood risk. So my house has changed from 1
Wow,
to
yeah,
5. So,
Yeah,
and I
we've been
talked about it at the
updating
time,
flood
so.
maps, so we keep watching.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to, and I mentioned, I said, a little bit insurance, I have not been able to get it, because it's money and the maps don't call for it, but you know, the minutes will show for 20 years. I've been
And
saying.
your ISO ratings are affected by that. Your ISO
No.
affects the insurance from everybody.
But to get it to be
If you're in a floodplain.
MAP
or you're
plus,
below flood
I don't know.
That's a problem.
I don't know. I'd like to have one firehouse that doesn't flood. Really, I you know, I'm
We are not doing a basement.
okay.
So we're not gonna have a flooding basement. We are doing a slab on grade. Matt, can you get that for me?
Sure.
So the fire department.
And I think when we go through the floor plans, you'll see something that'll address your concern.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we got mechanical.
Oh, okay. you know, we came back with the first conceptual plan, which was based on that 20 or 16,000 square foot program. And, you know, the fire department said, what, we don't need all this space. So once we had a nice come to Jesus conversation and got down to what we really needed, the fire department was so great to scribble this lovely rendition on the marker board, which we had to transition into a real floor plan. Made a few changes in there. Minor. Code should stop, you know. Basically, you saw the entry where those few public parking spaces. We have a public entry leading into a very modest lobby with a public restroom, access right away to the washroom via window, so they can come in and get help. Immediately on the other side of that is our officer's office, a shared office that's connected with lockers to their restroom and their bunk rooms. All of the other staff bunk rooms are individual bunk rooms with, again, shared restrooms and lockers right in front of them.
I'm gonna zoom in on that.
You didn't fix my doorway. There's actually an opening there. But yeah, so you know, it's like a Jack and Jill restroom between two bunk rooms, so they share. If we slide down a little bit, so you come in from the lobby, you have access to two corridors, both of which that flank are the bulk of our office space and firefighter space, and lead directly out to the apparatus room. You can see there's a transition area at the end of each of those corridors. They're actually a little bit generous because they're a little bit long because we have the space, but that's that transition zone that Matt talked about where our airlock happens, where you get a boot cleaning. You get a little bit of opportunity to clean, you know, some of your areas that are in close contact to your turnout gear, because turnout gear has some bad stuff in it. So we want to get cleaned up as quickly as possible. I can tell you the name of it.
And if I can also go on the EMS side of things, you know, we all do the medicine piece as well. So obviously we get cleaned up in the field with sandwiches and things like that. But you have sink spaces that you can wash up right there before you get into your office spaces.
It's really important to clean the areas that are in close contact with your turnout gear, because the same stuff that protects them from fire has risks associated with it. So let's go back here. The day room, kitchen, dining is sort of a semi-combined space. You get the kitchen area that leads to a dining area. There's a patio outside, so nice weather to go outside. You got your day room, which is, you know, a little TV space, a place to hang out. You've got a study area that seconds as a little conference room for your officers. We're just across the hall, and then we have a storage area for all of them. The living quarter storage. This opposite side is, again, it's 4 more sets of bunk rooms. So you've got the 6 plus the 2 officers. There's a fitness room. That has a hallway that leads out. There's a little patio area out there as well, so you can do, you know, some of that big training stuff where your flippable tires and all that good stuff takes a little more outdoor space, so you've got space for that. Just at the end, you've got your housekeeping, laundry. We do have a small IT closet, so that if you're cleaning your uniforms or your bedding, or you have that opportunity. We did talk about maybe just combining that space and making it one space instead of 2 separate. Once we get over here, we cross into that hot zone that Matt talks about. So here's our 2 apparatus bays. The depth is appropriate for a ladder as well as an engine, and then follow the chase vehicle. Your turnout gear room is just off of here. We are using mobile turnout gear racks so that they can move them in and out, and we actually have a little bit of space for future growth as well. Because even though we started with a bigger number and reduced it, we wanted to make sure we had some more capacity in there. This stair up here leads you up to the mezzanine. I'll get to that in a minute. I'm not going there yet, Matt. Electrical room is off the back so that we can get that service right into the main switch gear. In the middle here is our decon facilities. This is our big decon room where all of the equipment that helps us decontaminate the turnout gear, as well as any backboards or equipment that's used on the site. There's a deluge shower here, so you can get it in there with a sprayer and clean it off, and then all of the NFPA required decontamination equipment. We also have a little bit of a decontamination area for the staff, so that if you have gross decon on the site, which is common practice, but you need to find decon before you go into the building, you have the ability to come right up that decon area. There's a shower area, there's some lockers where you may have, sometimes it's, office, a uniform, sometimes it's coveralls. That allows you to get cleaned up. NFPA right now, because a friend of mine who works at H2M wrote the standard, it says shower within the hour. Go through the transition zone and shower within the hour. I've already seen the draft for the next version, which is going to increase that requirement so that you get showered right away. So we're already looking ahead to the next level of the NFPA standard. You can do that, you can shower, and you can head back to the transition zone and do living quarters. There is that hot zone restroom that Matt talked about earlier, right off the base. And then over on the opposite side of the base is that big combined workroom storage space, where you have the space where you do maintenance on small equipment, whether it's compressors or chainsaws or any of that stuff, whether it's light maintenance on the vehicles, but it's also your chain storage, it's also your foam storage, it's also your flammable equipment storage, all in one big space. We'll arrange that all in further exercises to make sure that we have the accommodation. We did talk about maybe moving this door and getting a small overhead door here, because the site service equipment, your lawnmowers and your snow blowers and all that's in there as well.
I was gonna ask about chase, a coverage for the chase car or something like that, outside.
Well, the chase car would be.
Would be inside?
Would be inside,
Okay, it wouldn't be
yeah.
for
Yeah.
equipment, so to speak, okay, okay. All right, so I thought, never mind, I'll talk to my brother.
All right, we'll go upstairs real quick. This is open to below because we like to make sure that our apparatus bays are tall, because you do have to be able to get on top of the equipment. You need to be able to feed. Sometimes you feed water in that equipment, but sometimes you just need to do maintenance. So these are taller spaces, and Matt mentioned that gives us the opportunity for a mezzanine space. So you see that stair coming up from below. You have the mezzanine. We've set it up so you can do some training exercises. You can do ladder drills, bailout windows right there. You can do it all year round. Inside the base, you don't have to go off-site, you don't have to go to Windsor Locks, you don't have to go anywhere, you can do that training right inside. And then we're using the end of it as our mechanical room. We had a lot of discussion about how much mechanical, electrical equipment we could put upstairs. And at first I was kind of like, let's hold off. But when I started doing the math on the square footage for building additional area on the ground floor versus making sure that we had a slab that could handle a boiler upstairs and big waterproofing protection, it just made sense to go ahead and put it upstairs. So our mechanical system is up elevated off that mezzanine, and then that gives us the opportunity to use that volume that we've already created in the building. And that is the entire floor plan. So no community room, modest public space. We boiled down the office space to just those areas right in front of the bunk rooms. We really got this program down, so we went from 16,000 square feet to just a hair over 10,000 square feet, putting us under our projected initial budget square footage area. So right now, I think we're in a good place. Very soon, in schematic design, we will get an official cost estimate from an outside cost estimator, and then we'll take a real look at where we are compared to the overall budget.
And that's pre-bid or whatever.
That's schematic design. So that's schematic design represents 15% of the overall project. We're sitting here around 3 or 4 or 5%. Once we design the elevations and get materials and narratives for our mechanical systems, our civil drainage systems on, then we go for that schematic design estimate. We'll get that number and we'll do a gut check on where we are.
Just remember that the commission needs to have meaningful, timely, as things go along, like to take a look at what mechanics, like I don't like triangle boilers, but there's one in this building. I would ask about why triangle. But,
yeah, we will have a series of meetings. Matt arranges all of these where we talk about specific elements of the building. Okay. So if there are people that want to be part of like the mechanical equipment discussion or any of those, we welcome that, because the more input we get up front, the smarter decisions we make.
That's generally not a good idea for a commission to have individual members, because it's a group thing. So just we're gonna have some meetings. When we're reaching milestones, I wanna make sure, because again, the word is meaningful impact, because ultimately we are charged with this, you saw we have to, when complete, and monitor and everything else. So the more we know, the easier it'll be for everyone, because, but just keep that in the back of everyone's mind, because there are opportunities where even if we don't have suggestions or want to make any changes, we still should have that opportunity, because
I've been playing the public market for now coming on 40 years.
Okay.
So I know.
I just want to, I'm gonna say that all the time, because generally, we keep things moving, but I don't like things that have gone ahead without.
You don't want to find us, going to bid and you haven't had to say yet.
Well, yeah.
So you're going to see us a number of times more.
Yes, okay, I just wanted to say that right now, and I assume there'll be more doors and stuff, because like none of these people can get out of their bunks.
Yeah.
So it may not flood, but they can't get out of their room, so. And the turnout room has one door into the apparatus bay, is that normal? Gonna stay
We've
out?
done it with 2 doors. It's not
Sometimes-
because in a department like yours, in a volunteer department, sometimes the volunteers are running in and grabbing their gear and then hopping on the equipment. Sometimes they keep it in their car, but in a paid department, usually the first thing you do on shift is you go to the turnout gear room and you stage your turnout gear right at the truck, so that when your call comes, step into your boots, pull the pants up,
right.
put the jacket on, and you're up in the truck.
I just don't, I think 2 doors is better to get people, so they're not all, whatever, trying in and out. I'm not, I don't, or whatever, you guys, but I did notice that. I two retired firefighter brother-in-laws, so.
I honestly haven't, 1, 2 doors, I don't care. That's
Okay,
you
I'm
guys
just-
want. The important thing to me is that we isolate it from our hot zone.
Correct. I
We
mean,
do-
if there's other reasons not to, then I would like to hear them, but
Yeah.
that's the first thing I noticed, okay.
I have a question on the fire department side. What's the square footage of the building we're using now?
I don't know off the top of my head. I'll get it for you.
I'm just comparison how big, how
4,000,
much, because that's an up and down, so we're spreading it out. but-
Yeah, we're spreading it out. That has an open bunk space. The kitchen is half the size of this room, and that's big.
The other question I have is, when this is completed, do we have the trucks to put in here, or are we gonna have to get more trucks?
So the way we're designing it is to take engine 2, which is up there, and we just move it to this station. And the ladder truck that it's designed around is at headquarters right now on School Street. We're not making any changes, however, some possible response district changes in the future could put a ladder truck on the south end at 5, Station Firehouse 5, and one at Firehouse 2, Firehouse 2, to respond from the outside in. We have to see what development happens in the center of town and then else.
Didn't we have a truck ordered? that's
We
coming
do.
in?
Yeah, but that's all replacing, so.
Yeah.
Where
So-
any trucks we have are just updated.
That truck you're talking about is due this summer, and that's the dimension that they have been building, the size of this bay.
A standard truck, or not a
I
ladder
just wanted
truck.
to make sure we're not in a situation where we have a building and then we have to have a truck.
The only question I had, concern is where the mechanical room is, and getting the equipment up there, material up there, what.
Normally what you'll do is we will have a removable section of railing on that mezzanine, and you can do a chain fall and you can get equipment right up into it and into the door.
Yeah, it just seems odd.
Unless you're
second
doing
floor.
a section of a boiler or a section of an air handling equipment, even that can go up,
Yeah.
go up the stair, but we would probably recommend a
Would
chain
there
fall.
be a built-in winch system, or would you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. They'd be there already, so it wouldn't rely on a crane or something?
We
Okay.
can,
All
or they
inside.
can, or, most contractors will just roll into the wall and just.
Well, but still, to have
But
that.
for resiliency, it's been becoming more commonplace to put as much mechanical space on an elevated floors.
And for that reason, an in-house winch is something, because in case something happens and you're not relying on someone coming with the equipment, so just look at.
You doing gas, oil, what's, gas?
Should be determined. Most likely.
one of our, Jeff talked about all the focus meetings that I'll be coordinating, and the very first one that we're gonna have next month, is scheduled, is going to be selection of the HVAC system.
And with that, we've had Justin Stanfield through the Public Works. He is on our working group, and he is, okay, we use the term, you take care of it for us. What do you like to see as far as mechanicals? What do you like to see?
One of the things that, and all the respect, I'm gonna say, you know, I respect obviously the committee, right? But I know Fire Station 5 was a high energy efficient station, and it's been all but nightmares. So, you know, we chase this title that, you know, we have this great energy efficiency, you know, building and design, and it only costs us more money down the road.
Yep.
So sometimes, you know, old school.
You know what?
Thing to do.
Maybe I'm old school, you know, I've been around for a while, but my theory is the best thing you can do from a sustainability standpoint is design a great envelope. Because anything you do after that is dependent on any energy that we run, whether you do an all-electric system, a gas system, an oil system, everything is affected by the quality of the envelope. If you do good insulation in your walls, good insulation in your roofs, the right kind of windows, you're gonna reduce your demand on energy. And go ahead, put a gas system in, it'll still be better. Simplest gas system in the world, will still be better than in an old building with a bad envelope.
As part of that discussion, I don't know if there's a, like with the schools, they were, long time, they were dual fuel, oil and gas. I don't know if there's like a gas and an electric heat pump kind of, that's what, I mean, that's residentially, that's.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're gonna see is a lot of DOAS units as part of this system, which is the heat recovery system. So when, you know, because the code says we have to bring in so much fresh air. And the problem is you bring in fresh air, that means you have to exhaust heated air or cooled air. The DOAS system is a heat recovery unit. So you bring in that fresh air, you share the heat or cooling in the DOAS unit before you pump it into the room. And that's, you know, that's sort of the next line of defense against, you know, energy costs.
So having at least sort of two options also makes sort of sense. You know, not necessarily oil.
No, yeah, a common approach that we've gone for, which is sort of like the most resilient, lowest cost, easiest to operate. It's sort of going with an electric heat pump type system or a VRF system with a gas-fired backup. Because what happens is those heat pumps, they suck when it's 20 degrees and lower outside. And the problem is with the apparatus phase is in January, like we had this year, if they go out to a structure fire call, that truck comes back an ice cube. And it's impossible to get that ready and recover it and respond back out on a call again. And so when you're relying on a heat pump that's running at a very low efficiency because it's so cold out, you can't get that truck turned over. So you can then use a gas or an electric backup boiler, and they're going to be spending more money than you spend on the building to heat the thing. So then we can put a gas-fired boiler in at a low cost to supplement that, improve the recovery time. That's kind of the best way right now, but we're going to have that detailed conversation and go through all the options.
I don't live in a firehouse, but I like my heat pump with gas. Okay?
Yeah.
So, okay, very much. Okay.
The rendition, you are gonna have pitched roofs?
That's what we're thinking right now. This was actually just to answer a question of the working group of, you know, what's this gonna look like from the road? So we did a very quick model. The road will not actually do that. But that's what the software does. But you can see, even though it is 10 feet or so lower, you know, you don't have the feeling like you're looking at the roof. So we were just, you know, there's a lot of work to do on this elevation yet. But yeah, we are thinking right now, it's in a neighborhood, pitched roofs. You know, the working group has talked about a more traditional character. We'd like to, you know, test the limits here and give them a little bit of
I'd like to hear
white
this
shutters.
commission's feedback. You know, what, because this is the town's firehouse.
Yeah.
You know, so
I like the picture.
What,
It
Cool.
doesn't look like your traditional fire station, it looks something different.
And-
More fits in with
And
the,
issues with flat
neighborhood.
roofs that we've had in the
Right.
past in our schools and so on.
It's, yeah, they don't-
We're better off.
And being like one story set below, it's going to not intrusive anyway. So, and McCartan's there, it's red brick. I don't see a reason not to do a red brick and white trim. I mean, you know, it doesn't have to be a colonial thing. It can look like a, you know, a 2010 ranch in glass.
25 years, I said, there is no reason not to put a picture on public safety building.
Okay, no,
Because they're just not big enough. Then, you know, all this solar stuff came along and we started doing flat roofs, but, you know, for this size, 10,000 square feet, there's no reason not to put a picture on. It just is more reliable.
That was kind of hard to see, how far off the road is the building gonna be?
100 and something.
Kind of hard to-
Yeah,
I can take it off.
feet back, you can just,
This is 1 to 20, yeah.
yes, sir.
100.
if we have two offices, we gotta share the space. The deputy's office, we should.
So you take it straight on that, oops, like work here and
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So that would be-
They're not gonna be 5 years from now,
Yes.
like we got shortchanged.
Or that,
in our
no,
office.
it's 107 that way. This way, it's probably more like
Just stupid little
70.
things like that.
So, yeah, I was gonna say 78 feet, okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
I can still say.
And Alex has
Okay, but 70 feet.
70, okay, I was,
Matt's being very orthogonal, but he's still got the numerous sense.
Just trying to match you, Jeff.
so,
Yeah, okay, just, that's the, all right, Jeff.
You know, from what I'm hearing from the scale that we're looking at, if anybody has seen the new firehouse in Bloomfield, Company 3, that we did, probably similar to that.
Yeah, it's a little.
I don't have a photo of it on here, but if you want.
And as Matt looks, we have an answer to the square footage of existing station 2.
It's just under 5,000 square feet with the basement.
That's what we last year.
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay, absolutely.
Okay.
Nice, nice, all right.
oh, that's very classy.
Yeah.
That's, you know, something like that.
That's his grandfather's
Great-grand.
station, great-grandfather's station. It turns out that way back in my career, I did company number 1 in Bloomfield. And when the ribbon cutting ceremony was happening, I was, you know, speaking on behalf of the architecture firm, and Matt was crying.
Yeah, my great-grandfather was the founding chief of that. My great-grandfather built that company.
Wow.
So is 3 parking spots out front enough if you have people coming in?
Yeah, there's no meeting around.
Because one's
It's-
probably gotta be handicapped, so
Yeah.
that leaves you with 2 for visitors.
Yeah, I mean, we
There's
could
park
do
around
more if we needed it. I just don't know that
They
there's
could even
that
park
much
in
need.
the, they can park in the back too.
Yeah, I mean, how many,
Yeah.
other than me, how many visitors do you get?
It's rare, but we do have folks that are lost, will pull in.
Yeah.
They have a medical emergency, they pull in. That's what that forward entrance is for.
I like 4 spaces just in case
You got
people get lost and they're following each other or something, or like, where the heck is this McAuliffe Park? You know? And,
Yeah, I mean, we can obviously fit easily do more.
yes, oh yeah, yes. That's a lot.
Honestly, the only reason I stopped short is because those bedrooms, the officer bunks are here, and I was trying to figure out buffers so that I had lights.
But to your point, if people are coming to visit firefighters, they'll be parking in the back.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
They'll know where to go. This is the firehouse, I need help.
Right.
Well, my gut is, our biggest issue is gonna be
One
is
handicap.
making it clear that this is the apparatus apron, and this is the visitor apron. So with signage and, you know, the,
One way,
yeah, you know, the proper indications.
Van-sized handicap, just,
And if they do make a mistake, they come down and they get out of the way.
yeah, and that's, and with the couple of spaces there, they can actually collect their thoughts, look at their phone, not
Yeah.
violate the law, stay out of the way of the fire truck, yeah, so.
You know, since I park at fire stations all the time, I make sure I park right here.
There you go, yeah.
I look for
And,
the visitor parking.
This is a busy firehouse, 1,700 tons a year, 1,200 of them are medical, but this is an active firehouse.
It's the whole northern strip, right, Chesterfield, or it used to be.
It's the South Windsor.
The South Windsor and then.
It comes all the way, their district comes all the way down to Burnside, and up Burnside a little bit.
Okay, so, okay, because I, for some reason, I thought, my grandparents lived on Goodwood Street, for some reason, I thought they were.
The firehouses in East Hartford, whoever did it, put them perfectly. Like, if we had this, if we had a blank slate, where do you want firehouses? They're in absolutely perfect spots. Now, you do redevelopment, in the meadows, that's a different story. However, having a spot 2 doors down from where we're at now, while it's a challenging topography, this is a luxury to have it. You don't have to redo response districts. The neighborhood knows where their firehouse is.
Yeah.
So the feedback from the neighbors is next. Jeff had asked that on the side that, when we get this out to the public, that's the next step. We got this commission's first. And then, okay, Tecton has call it a PR team. They'll help us guide how to engage the public for things that matter to the public, textures, colors, things like that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So the feedback is important.
What should we use as a barrier on the south lawn?
Along here?
Yeah.
I mean, we could do a vegetated barrier. We will have to stop it somewhere around here because we never want to have vegetation that blocks the view up and down the street. But yeah, we could absolutely do some screening along this edge. There's a little bit of fill material. You can see my hand. There's a little fill in there.
Do you have some preference? Arborvitae. Right,
No. There's lots of really great indigenous species. We can create a lovely barrier.
At least Stevens in a triangle.
So we've got a good team here. We've got a good working group. Louis keeps me on track. I heard the cats in the firehouse. But we're into the nitty gritty here.
Yeah.
So I hear what you guys are saying, that you want to be informed, that key points will do that.
Not unnecessarily, but when decisions are made.
Do you want
meaningful,
more
you know.
than, I mean, we have obviously 3 phases of document development. Do you want more than that?
Like I said, meaningful
We'll come to you 6
decisions.
times in that period if you want.
No, I don't necessarily want that, but I don't want to say, oh, I wish I had known, or I had questions when things get, so, I don't want to be onerous, but I also don't want to.
Schematic design, a
Right.
lot of stuff, a lot of the
Right.
big decisions will be baked in. By the time we're done with design development, darn near all the big decisions will be baked in.
Possibly one before, before the package was out, that definitely.
Yeah, and that's the final one, yeah. That would be
Yeah,
a
that
decision.
would be, so, depending on how it goes, maybe one other before, because the firehouses are very important, every building that we do.
I would recommend 3.
Okay.
And a schematic, and a DD, and then and a CD when we're getting ready to go to bed.
All right.
And that way you get to see, reasonable phases of development.
And the update to the budget, because we're running a cost estimate of schematic design, we're also doing one at PD, we're doing one at CDs.
Right, and we'd like to see those numbers too as part of our packages at that time, just a general, we don't get too deep into the budgets traditionally, there's sometimes there's some questions, but,
Budgets are sacred.
generally, I've chaired like school building committees where like any change order over 10,000 had to come, but then we met monthly, but that was a different animal.
Very keen on the dial, very, very keen.
Is there any guesstimate on what you think it's ultimately going to be?
10 to 12 million.
What did 5 cost? 8, 7, 9?
I mean, Chief, are you happy with so far the design and how it's going there? It seems, and same thing with public works, how it seems to be going pretty well, and you don't see any real major
It's a new building.
changes from it, or?
Again, not my firehouse that I'm working in.
Yeah.
But I remember back when I was on the line, this says everything line firefighters and line officers need to do their job safely with a nod to the community and where it's at. That's important.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with the changes that Tecton made. The pod style of living that was directly from our work group.
Yep.
The work group wanted to response, speed, like distance, they have to walk in the firehouse to get to the apparatus, so they get out the door within a minute. So I am very happy with what our work groups come up with, the tech time's adjusting to, and that it'll fit the neighborhood. I'm very happy with it.
I have a question for our committee here, is that, I haven't been on here that long, maybe a year or so, but a project like this, or the Veterans Clubhouse even, do we get quarterly progress
We can do,
meetings?
we can do what we want. Yeah.
I mean,
how
once
to-
it starts,
Right.
quarterly meetings?
So anticipating that we're gonna be ready
Oh, you mean
with our
after,
construction
after
documents in
construction?
October,
As construction starts.
and we're gonna do
Quarterly
quarterly meetings
to
before
track.
then. You're gonna have quarterly meetings.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, because we have to, we're to monitor as well, so after
Yeah,
this.
It'd be good to know
Yeah.
the progress, because
I-
I don't think we did
I-
anything with the town hall.
I was going
You can
to
get updated, yeah.
discuss
It'd be good.
with the group if we wanted to schedule a monthly meeting and cancel if we don't need it. And then the advantage of a regular meeting is then we can amend the agenda as well. So I'm just, and then, you know, second Thursdays is generally what we have done. And that way we'll have it set up and we can cancel it and.
I'll leave it like the Veterans Clubhouse. Nice to get an
So we're
update.
looking at schematic design early May, so we should meet in May. And then design development in July, so we should meet sometime in July. And then again in October.
Yeah, I don't think we need much.
And then we have to sit and wait.
No, right, but
I would not schedule them and then cancel them, because then you're creating expectations.
I was just, again, I'm not
But
wedded
I
to it.
appreciate that, I just think we should just call them when we've got a critical mass of.
Seems like.
From that
That way we're
perspective, having,
not wasting time
Sorry,
doing one.
the clerk,
and-
clerk.
yes. So from the meeting perspective, we have that sort of like rolling list on each agenda that we can touch point items as they come. Firehouse 2 being
That's
one
true,
that's
okay.
on there.
So that will-
VMC being
right.
one that's on there.
You're right,
DPW overall projects, like, so that exists. If
It's-
that's,
yeah, it's been-
that's kind of the,
Been 18 years since I worked at FOI, I used to know that. I used to know that, okay. All right, so that's, we'll keep it as it is, and thank you, Rich, I appreciate that. And that's why I like that. Yeah,
Any questions from you?
I think,
I like the design.
Yeah.
I think this is great.
I think, can't wait to see something go.
yeah, and just 4 parking spaces, van handicap.
Definitely not fine.
And if you get a triangle, 2 in whatever, I'm gonna kick this picture.
I would, jump right into my head.
And again, like I said,
It's like,
even though with the
right
maps, the flooding that's a concern, because they've changed now, and like I said, it floods here, you know, I remember people.
Well, I mean, I told you about that project in South Portland, Maine. We're looking at the 40-year inundation level, if, you know, things go on the course that people are saying. And we're designed to be above that. And, you know, yeah, you gotta think about this.
Yeah, and this town's so flat,
Lexington,
Burnham Brook, I think.
We
is
have a
right there.
police station that required 72 hours backup power with the solar grid and the battery. We can probably run weeks.
Fine, you know, well, it's the way it should be, you know.
DPW yard, we have to come up with toilet to build there, so.
Okay.
Work for that yard.
I can't swim, so.
There you go. And, I can't see how tall you are, I'm just kidding. Okay, well, thank you, if there's nothing else productive.
this
is great.
Not a whole lot of feedback, so that's good, you like that, probably, like, you know, just. Because, you know, and then some people can't park, so that's what you're for.
Well, yeah. I know somebody that's struggling with parking lots.
Losing your house.
All right, so I've lost my agenda, Mr. Clerk, do you have an agenda handy?
We have an agenda, hold on.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
so I don't, we have nothing official, but we're looking at a meeting in May, probably.
That we spent.
We try to do the second Thursday,
Yeah, definitely.
is what we try to do. So I don't know. I mean, you have your own schedule as well, and we can be accommodating, this is not a road, because, well, very, a lot of busy people here. Me, not so much anymore.
Yeah, we want to be as close to the end of the design as we can reasonably.
Right, and but again, opportunity to affect change, all we ask. Okay, all right, thank you. I guess you can, you don't have to leave, but, yeah, the Public Building Commission, late night. Okay, then we have the other list of we have a whole list of projects.
I don't think I have any updates on any of them.
No updates on any of these, Veterans, Town Hall,
Nope.
Hockenham, DPW, Church Corner.
So I can just briefly touch on Veterans Memorial.
Yeah.
We got drawing edits from Doug, the town engineer, that are being made by the Del Arcos. They're not the architects, but they're the structural engineers. So they're making some edits in the drawings, and then it'll be out to bid. We're hoping early mid-April at the latest. So we're delayed, but we're gonna get it out shortly.
And all that is still consistent with what?
Yeah, did we?
Yeah,
we'd like
nothing's
to
been changed from the last draft you guys saw.
When the package is together and out, we should at least get it sent to us.
Yeah, yeah, as soon as we get the edits back on the.
Is that, okay, I don't.
Yeah, or
think
just even just a summary of what they're changing.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
Fine.
The edits, I think, were limited, Louis, correct me if I'm mistaken, to how it was on paper.
Yeah.
Not so much an edit to the design or anything.
Okay.
It was all exterior, like parking lot, how he's designing the parking lot with the parking barricades there.
If I can figure out how to go on what's posted, I can just be like, no.
Yeah, so I can pass that around, a short memo, that's easy enough.
Yeah.
Town hall, I'm expecting a final pay application for the last vendor this week, next week the latest. The mayor has a couple items that we're gonna complete with any extra funding there. I guess some of the wayfinding signage is misleading, so we're gonna help the residents find where they're trying to go. We'll upgrade the signage.
If they make it to me, they're in the wrong spot.
So.
Thank you. Drive safely, have a good night.
So we're talking about,
Be kind
a
to
couple
bike.
of trees in front of town hall. A couple of trees in front of town hall, maybe, instead of just being vast open, but we're just in discussion fortunately about that.
Yeah.
Not so much vegetation along the foundation, because.
Right, that was one
Plus,
of the.
depending what the vegetation is, the other day on our Hartford page, Facebook, there was like 5 deers grazing on the front lawn.
Right,
So,
yeah.
You put ewes out there, or arborvitae, whatever, they're just gonna get. Or try to appear.
We took them down, we took down the old ones because they were taken away from the overall architectural.
And the building looks great just the way it is.
It does.
And that's why we're just thinking, if anything, maybe 2 trees, one to the right, one to the left of the
Yeah.
main sidewalk coming in, just to give it a little bit of a break in that landscape.
Yeah.
So you might have to move some of the sprinkler systems and lines, put the trees in.
Well, hopefully our design will be move
Man,
trees.
with the trees in there,
It would be nice.
I mean, the lawn is pristine, so,
Yeah, no.
we've got an amazing.
Jealous.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, my lawn
I don't wanna
looked
get
like that.
into how much water you do in order to make it pristine.
Even when it's
We'll
raining.
get out of the hospital.
Even when it's raining, I'll just start with water.
Then lastly, the DPW project, instead of a phased approach, the mayor and finance has asked us to come up with a design and plan as if we were gonna get all the funding at once.
Which one's this? I'm sorry.
The
DPW.
project,
Oh, okay.
the facility itself.
You never know. The town might.
Well, the other thing
I mean, what do you, I know you've been working on it, but as far as DPW, I mean, do you have an overall kind of like, just a general idea of how you want this to look and laid out and building?
So a lot will depend on
I'm making the decision.
if we're building on a current location or if another parcel.
So our current location, to build on our current location, so it costs a lot more money because we have to build it. Temporary building here, the whole building, permanent building, another temporary building, it's a waste of money, really. We're in a floodplain as well, and it's just not conducive to a good layout, right? So there is, you know, if we have to, we have to. We're trying to avoid spending good money, and we want our facilities to live, you know, last, for example, for, you know, hopefully 40, 50 years. So we're looking at other potential sites.
This
There's
is
a
for
couple of things that floated around.
which one you're talking about?
DPW.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nothing, you know, from an operation standpoint, I don't need everything at Ecology Drive. So we, you know, our transfer station would still stay there and service the community that way. My vision would be if we move the admin, the highway division, the fleet, as a bare minimum out of Ecology Drive, the area that I call the bowl, where admin is, and where we just spent, what, 400,000 on the modular buildings?
The buildings, yeah.
That would be a fantastic place for the fire department to do training. You know, they've been looking for space to do training, that'd be ideal. The modular buildings then can be converted, you know, to be used as training rooms, right? They already use our facility for training with the, you know, they took some of our old trucks and, you know, stacked them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that would be a great place for them. So we get, you know, double bang for the buck, let's say, in that sense, right? The problem is that there's not that much space available for, you know, roughly, I mean, I say I need 10 acres. I know I don't need 10, but I like to ask for 10 and get 8. The reality is I probably need just under 8, depending on how we configure it. And we're using a model from New Britain. We went to look at New Britain model, and we know how much space they had. They had a weird geometry for a lot. So they had to, you know, configure their buildings kind of oddly. So I think if I have more of a rectangle, more of a square, you know, I could probably downsize the acreage that I would need, you know. But it's finding the space. So there are a couple of places that we were looking at, but, you know, there've been little roadblocks as we start looking into them. And hopefully we can find something. Hopefully, you know, this committee, the town council, and everybody can support it. But I forget what I was telling you today. I tend to, you know, come in on Saturday sometimes, clear on my desk, you know, I'll polish my desk. In a matter of 3 weeks, you should see the dust that's collected on my desk. So just think about the indoor air quality that we're having. Our windows, you know, quarter-inch thick glass, it's like they're storm windows. We have no real windows. Our heating system from 1991 broke down this winter, you know. If this happened in any other building, the employees would have been in an uproar. I'm going home. My staff stayed there with jackets, a couple of portable heaters for 2 days to, you know, do our job. And we're dedicated, they're dedicated. I really appreciate what they did. The building is really a tin can. And those modular buildings we bought, if anybody thinks those are 40-year, you know, rooms, come on, we're kidding ourselves, you know? So we really need a board foundation building that's gonna last 40, 50 years and design right for growth, right? We talk about EV vehicles. In the fleet garage for EV vehicles, you can't have a standard bay width, they have to be greater, right? I don't know if we'll ever get to an EV truck, you know, other than maybe some vehicles. But the deal is this, you're gonna build it today, let's build it right for tomorrow. With that said,
Okay.
All right, thank you.
More to
And
discuss.
at Church Corners, at some point, if we're not gonna do anything that was given to us, I'd like to have something just out, whatever's happening.
I'm not sure that one guy really gave us enough.
Yeah, it was given to us and then we're not doing what we did, but I don't like when a project's given to us and then we don't do anything with it to process it. That's, I'm just saying.
See, I mean, that's what an update for Church Corners.
Just, because we,
But
it's
isn't that-
complicated why we took it and
Aren't
then,
we going to be transferring church doors to the developer soon?
that's what I want to know. Because we were brought in, Attorney Fitzgerald.
Within the
had
next
us-
few months, I think it's gonna be
Right,
else's.
so I would like to have something where we, because we had that meeting with Attorney Fitzgerald and so it's there and sort of in our hopper, and I just, for the process of it, with something. I understood from the beginning that we were not going to be involved, it was more of a technical thing, but still.
The last development, provide an update.
Or even a memo to at some point and just vote on it and ship it out. Thank you, thank you. I'm curious, and I don't want it on that, in my inbox, sort of. Okay, thank you for that. Motion to pay the clerk, may I have a motion?
So move.
Second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay, motion carries. All right.
I forgot that form.
You forgot, see, you bring the form, I have to borrow a pen. Here I am with my pen already.
Ready to go, and I don't have a form.
Just put HP in the line. All right, anything else? So we're looking probably 2 months, unless something crazy happens, something on the town side.
Right, so in terms of PMC, I'll pass along the final packet.
I'd like to take that. It helps me.
I'll have to break it up into pieces, it's quite large.
Or however, when I can't sleep, I look through them and then I then come up with some questions.
So let me ask this way, because the package is large.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's probably something that's relevant to the role of the committee. Is there certain sections that we could, give them?
Some of the really,
Like,
really
you don't
technical.
need the CHRO type stuff or other compliance items, right?
That see, I'm not an architect, but I'm a lawyer, so I do like that stuff, so, but I don't need to see all the.
I guess what I would say is that truthfully, if you wanna take a look at that kind of detail, just make it available at town hall and just go down there and get it,
It's
rather
hard-
than
it's-
have anything
it's hard,
copied.
right.
I don't think most of the commission members are gonna wanna get into that
Right.
kind of detail.
I just like to look for, see something that.
Yeah. And then, but it's available, and then that way they're not
Right.
putting any cost into copying
Right,
all of that.
it is large.
That's, so I gave,
Yeah, because even like emailing the size of the files and stuff like that, we gotta figure out a way to break it up.
because if it's not there, I don't know what I don't know.
So someone could put a link out there, and you could always
Right.
go on and just go to the link
I
and
could, right.
and read it, but to email it, it would be more.
Right, so
we gotta-
however,
we can embed it.
however,
1,800 pages, I think.
Oh, fuck, okay.
yeah, no, it's, I've,
Is this for a firehouse or for?
BMC.
yeah, so. I just like it available, just, and then I don't necessarily.
Keep it rolling.
Alright, got a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Should we do that?
No.
Second.
Made by Jeff, second by Rich, all in favor, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned, thank you, good meeting.
Alright.
You know, this whole, 1/3 of my brain, this whole meeting, it's been like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, well, that's.
You know, I thought it was-